Hi, and welcome to the SEO Podcast, Unknown Secrets of Internet Marketing. My name is Chris Burris, owner of eWebStyle.
I am Charles Lewis, your Internet Marketing Specialist.
We are sponsored today by ShockTop, even though ShockTop doesn't know it and doesn't actually sponsor us.
And probably doesn't care.
Yeah.
Thank you for
It's
a
delicious.
wonderful citrusly tasting,
Hot
Friday
beverage.
evening beverage.
Yeah. You are listening to and possibly watching, probably not though, because we're way off schedule, the most popular internet marketing podcast on iTunes.
Yes.
That is because of you all. Thank you. We'll keep this brief. You can do us a favor if you get any value out of this podcast. You know what? If the sound quality has just gotten any better, do us this favor.
Do us this favor.
Yeah. Go onto iTunes, write a review, and that's it.
Create an account.
You got to create an account and then write a review.
Yeah.
I'm going to blame it on the ShockTop. We're celebrating a couple contracts signed this week, so we're very happy about that. That's why we're also busy and finally getting to our podcast now. So do that. If you write a review, go ahead and send us an email, podcast@e-webstyle.com. And let us know. We will give you a punch in the face.
Put-tiff.
As always, there is a tip from our previous podcast, and that tip is better to use original images instead of stock images. If that is not an option, make modifications to the stock images.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime you're designing a website and you're putting something out there, whether it's a website, whether it's a brochure, whether it's any sort of print advertising or media or web related, if possible, use original imagery. People see stock photos, they recognize stock photos, and you don't want to be that person that has the same customer service chick on your site and she's on everybody else's site.
Everybody else's
like
site.
She's got a whole bunch of jobs or not. So yeah,
you know
use some original photos.
They know who we're talking about.
Yeah, they do.
Seen her.
And if you're gonna use the stock ones, then edit them.
Yeah.
We use stock photos, but we'll change the background. Maybe
zoom in on a
zoom in
section.
something, add text,
Reverse it and
add a
zoom in.
filter.
Yeah.
Like you can manipulate them. So do that.
Make it stand out a little bit.
Definitely.
That's a great tip. That tip was from podcast number 189. This is podcast number 190. Remember, we are your friendly local neighborhood top position snatchers, where our mantra is,
Don't be a deuce. It's not a good look.
if you can, please tweet now, and Chuck will tell you what to tweet.
We're going to tweet hashtag SEO Podcast. This is number 190. Be sure to tag us in it at eWebStyle. Matter of fact, tag us at Best SEO Podcast as well. And that way we can link up with you and let you know what's going on and stay connected socially.
Excellent. Another way, in addition to the Facebook, to the iTunes thing we just discussed, writing a review, you can actually write a review on our G Plus local page.
Yes.
It is incredibly challenging to find if I were to give you all the numbers, digits, and dashes, so I'm not going to give you any of that. I'm just going to tell you, go to e-webstyle.com/
G plus
and /
G plus
and /
Google plus
and /
Google plus.
Each one of those will forward you to our G Plus local page where you could write
Leave
a
a
review.
review.
Now, it does require that you have a Gmail account, and if you're following us on SEO, you probably have Google Analytics, and if you have Google Analytics, you have a G Plus account. You just may not realize it. One other thing, remember, we have a referral program. Actually, we just got a call not too long ago. If you have an SEO customer that you're struggling with, or you just do web design and development and want to stay focused on what you're good at, send those clients over to us. I'm going to turn off the binging. And binging.
Turn mine off already.
Smart. Smarter than me. So just send those clients over to us. We have a referral program so that you can get remunerated for that referral. That's a lot of that stuff. Hey, in the news, this is huge. I got a Galaxy S3. Yeah, my Galaxy S2 died.
GS2 was stuck on welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, not even welcome. It was just.
You know, by the time I got to the shop, only the blue light came on. Like, when I was leaving to go to the shop, and for half of the day yesterday, it was stuck on Galaxy S2 and just wouldn't go any further. And then when I left the office to go to the shop, yeah, it was already on the blue light. Anyway, I'm happy. It's cool. Good device. It was sooner than I wanted. I was still hoping that the S4 would actually come out, and the price would drop another $50, and that didn't happen. In the news,
Yeah.
Google buys Wavy, W-A-V-I-I. Did you know what Wavy was?
I've heard of Wavy. Not exactly sure what they do.
Not Google Wave, because that never made it.
Yeah, Wave.
Wavy was a kind of news agglomerating service, I think similar to like a, Flipboard.
Okay.
You know, Flipboard, which Flipboard is on Android. It's actually pretty good. I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite apps. And so Google bought them. They closed down their RSS feed feature and then purchased Wavy. It's kind of interesting. iPhones may be delayed by fingerprints. What's your first thought on that?
Yeah, repeat that. I'm trying to absorb it.
The iPhones may be delayed because of fingerprints.
Oh, I mean, somebody wasn't wearing gloves when they put the screens on?
That's my first thought too, right? It's like there's one person who tried to,
all his job is to put screens on.
And he tried to jump out the window the other day, but the damn net caught him. And he forgot his thumb fell out.
Got stuck in the net.
And
so
they're so cheap they don't have more gloves. Anyway, what it is this is the rumor. We don't know this for fact. This is the rumor that Apple is going to be able to check your fingerprint and use that as a sign-in kind of feature. By the way, it needs to get a lot better. Even the Galaxy S2 had a face recognition, so it would recognize your face and then it would turn on instead of having to do a slide or whatever. And it was just too slow. I'm like, I'm just not going to do
too much.
Yeah.
Lighting wasn't right. Yeah. So.
And you're in a club, like it's just not going to come on.
Oh, how many times do you need to use somebody else's phone though?
What do you mean?
Well, like for example, if my wife, gave me her phone, do this, and I don't have her fingerprint.
Yeah. I think the phrase is SOL.
Touch your phone first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Amazon is apparently coming out with a set-top box for your TV. Amazon TV. We always wanted to watch that when we were kids.
Yeah, good luck with that, Amazon.
Yeah, no one else has done it well, so.
Except for Uverse and Comcast.
That's kind of well, and we could get Comcast out of that. Well,
I use Comcast.
Remember they did it well, and then they screwed it up with this new version. That's why we switched over to Uverse. All right, so we do have a listener question. This is from Greg Took, who is a longtime listener.
Patif, Greg.
Yeah,
what's up, man?
Patif, thank you for being a longtime listener. It says, I listened to your podcast, and you guys reviewed my site, Best Bloody Mary Recipe.
Yeah, he had the bacon. Remember the bacon Bloody Marys?
Yeah.
Still need to try one.
Need to try that, yeah. That sounds delicious right now. I have other sites. The one I'm referring to here is tonsillectomyrecovery.com. Tail wagging dog. I think Google real-time search suggestion. So that's when you're typing in something and Google's making suggestions for you.
Google Instant.
It's called Google Instant. Is influencing search behavior. So tonsillectomy recovery versus tonsillectomy recovery time. So in AdWords, the keyword tool says that, and actually also SEO Book, both indicate that tonsillectomy recovery has about 7.5 times more search volume than tonsillectomy recovery time. He currently ranks number 1 and number 2 for both of those phrases, and in the last 30 days, 262 people found him for one of the terms, it doesn't even really matter, and 252 found him for tonsillectomy recovery time. So if there's 7.5 times search volume,
I thought they would have,
and you have position 1 and 2 for both of them, you would assume they're 7.5 times the traffic. Comments, kind sir?
I'm not sure. I think that there isn't that big of a difference between the search queries where you add time or not add time. My personal gut feeling says I would prefer to get more listings for a time. It's a longer phrase, usually indicates of a more qualified search. And so I'd be willing to, place my eggs in that basket. However, you rank well for both of them. I think that the 7.5 number is a little skewed to me. Which is why I don't place all my eggs in Google AdWords tool, because it's just a little suspect.
We see wonky things like this every now and then. We see, really good placement not getting, the kind of traffic. They'll say that 80% of clicks happen on the first 3, and we own quote unquote the first 2, and we're not getting the traffic volume that the AdWords tool is saying.
Yeah, I would definitely, 30 days isn't really a lot of time either. You know, especially when you consider seasons and things like that that change. So I would let some more time go, maybe a good 90 days, especially since it's natural. It's not like it's a paid search. So I would let some time go by and really look at the data, see what your bounce is. That's what you could do. Look at some of the other information. From which terms generate the most conversions, right? It's not about traffic at this point because the traffic is kind of similar.
Right.
Does recovery time generate a higher conversion or more time on site or a lower bounce rate than without the word time? You know, I would look at that sort of data because it's probably a little bit more important than the 7.5% because that number's skewed.
Yep.
Greg, hopefully that works for me, man. Send me a follow-up email. I'd like some more information on it. You know, I'm pretty sure you tested several key phrases, and those are just the two you told us. So.
Yeah, you probably are testing Bloody Mary bacon as we speak. You're probably the only one on the first page. If you're not, then I'm a little surprised. Yeah. Like to see. But you know what? We really appreciate our listeners sending in these types of questions because they really make us think, allow our viewers to think, and you know.
They force me to go research. Like, we're not just gonna let it hang. We're gonna look up some information and you know, try to help you solve this issue. So.
Very cool. Patuf, Greg took, and I think we're done with our potatoes. Sorry, Greg, you were just potatoes.
Potatoes with Bloody Mary.
Yeah, with Bloody Mary with bacon. Yeah, that's almost as good as the meat.
You know, bacon is kind of meat.
Yeah, so kind of.
We stretch it that way, kind of, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
bacon could be a dessert. Like bacon fits in all the food groups.
Yeah.
So I was at SEO Moss today. We're SEO Moss users. Found a pretty good article dusting the website for spring. This was really interesting to me because we've been spring cleaning at home, throwing away stuff, getting rid of stuff. And so I was
getting some new furniture.
Getting new furniture. Got my TV hung up, ready for the Floyd Mayweather fight coming up.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting Guerrero, the other guy.
Oh, a big ticket guy.
Yeah, he's fighting that guy. And so anyway, I got the article and it was pretty cool. Some of the things I didn't really like, but some of it I think we could definitely implement, and you guys should as well. Especially since this is I won't call it a new year. We're already almost at the end of April, but the first quarter has passed. And if you haven't tweaked your site or made any changes, if everything on your site is the same as it was in 2012, then you're likely to get pooped on by a penguin pretty soon.
Or black
eye by a panda. So take some of these changes. Number one, on-site dusting, we'll call this authorship, right? Authorship, he goes on to say, authorship is an extremely important action item. Let me tell you why authorship is so important.
There's like 3 key reasons, right, at least?
Well, one of the main reasons is that it increases your conversions. Right, when you have a Google 7-pack or 10-pack even, and one of those listings actually has an avatar next to it, then you're more prone to, at the very least, not overlook it and at least scan that title, which will lead to that click.
Yep.
When you don't have that avatar, then people just tend to overlook it. So definitely set up your authorship. It's a conversion tactic. It's also key in regards to Google's algorithm and them understanding and recognizing that this is original content, you are the author of this content, and so that kind of helps them, right? They don't have to run all of the bots and everything that it takes to figure out, is this content duplicate, who's the original author, where did it come from? When you have your authorship set up, you kind of remove that problem and put yourself up front as the original author, and therefore your author rank goes up a little bit higher. So definitely set up authorship if you haven't done that yet. Let me drop this in on you. You must be using Google Plus to do that. If you're not using Google Plus, then kicking the shin to you, get on the board.
And if you are using Google Plus, write us a review.
Write us a review. Thank you. Speaking of Google Plus, your +1 button, which is number 2. Make sure your site has this +1 button. It is extremely important, not for social usability yet, because Google Plus hasn't really been adopted by the masses per se, and so you're not going to have the same interaction on G Plus that you have on Facebook. Right. But from an SEO perspective, that +1 is a vote, and if the people happen to +1 it, and you have authorship set up, then that +1 gives credit to your site and to you as an author.
Yeah.
And so when you begin to publish on other sites because you have authorship set up, those same pluses count towards your authorship.
Yep.
That's extremely important.
Credibility.
Yes, sir. And so it's extremely important to set up that authorship and have +1 buttons on the sites that you are author on. Number 3, set up a Pinterest button. This, I think, is kind of based on service, right? If you are what's our ongoing example? If you're a plumber, you're probably not on Pinterest. Like, what are you pinning? You know what I'm saying?
And by the way, whatever you're pinning, stop.
Exactly. And so, yeah, because nobody's looking at how to set up a backflow drain.
Or look at this mess.
Yeah,
no, thank
no,
you. No, that's
exactly. I don't want to see a bad backflow drain. Don't want to see that at all. And so yeah. But I think if you're in an industry that's photo heavy, that's maybe e-commerce related, where you're selling products and you have different pictures of those products being in use or something like that, then definitely get on Pinterest. And more importantly, similar to the +1 button, give people the pin it button. That way they can pin it directly from the browser, add that to their board, share it on your board, and you can begin gaining some traction that way. Metadata. I like this one here because the metadata is still important, and when I say metadata, I'm really referring to title and description. The keywords, use them because you have a feel for it, but it's not that valuable. But the metadata is, like, make sure your descriptions are up to date. Make sure that your titles are up to date. Make sure you have a different description for each page. And since we are believers in WordPress here and users of WordPress, I would take it a step further and say make sure the plugin that you're using effectively manages metadata. Because, you don't really want to use the kind of default WordPress SEO deal, because then you'll have to go into your editor and manually add these kind of tags, and then you're forced to have the same description on every page and that sort of situation. But install a plugin. I recommend Yoast or SEO Ultimate. Those are the two we kind of use, and they both give you the option to really tailor your meta descriptions for each page from a dashboard view, which makes it extremely easy. Open Graph is the next one, which is right in line because Open Graph is something you should have, and Yoast, the Yoast plugin makes the Open Graph setup work extremely well. I know you guys are probably like, I don't quite understand Open Graph. Help explain that. So what happens is with the Yoast Open Graph plugin, the SEO plugin in Yoast that can control Open Graph, there you go, that allows you to display a different title and a different description to different providers based on whatever you set. For example, we could have Shock Top, right, on our site, but then on Facebook, we may want this same page to have a different title and a different description. So that way, you know how it is. If you copy a link and you paste it in Facebook, and then you get a title, description, and the image. So with Yoast plugin, using Open Graph, you can change that. Oh, wow. So if we paste this same link in Facebook, it'll give us a different title and a different description. If we paste this same link somewhere else that we have to identify, it'll give us a different title and a different description. And it's SEO friendly, and that's not Black Hat. And so so take advantage of that, especially if you're like doing some content marketing and things like that, and you really want to test how this same page of content works on different platforms. It's a great way to do that. Site speed. How fast does your site load? Could it be faster? Most likely, yes.
Yep. Unless it's hosted by Google.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. They can take a snapshot of the entire internet.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But that's worth saying again. They can take a snapshot of the entire internet.
Yeah, catch us like this. But anyway, get your site speed up. Like, if your site's loading slow, if people got to click and wait, then it's not a good look. Yeah. At the very least, they should click, and the page title should show up. Yeah, if your little wheel's still turning, then something's on your site is either making your site load slow, or you may have some sort of server issue. So check your hosting out, check your site out, but do whatever you can to make sure your site loads up fast.
One thing, especially with WordPress sites, you need to be careful about having a lot of different plugins, because each plugin
has to load.
Independent plugin has a load. It has to load and causes a load on the server. So you want to be careful of that. You know, with some of the articles that I've been reading are talking about, hey, you know, paying for an actual plugin that incorporates, you know, right now I'm using these 5 plugins because the one does a title tag, one does a meta tag, you know, whatever it may be. Pay for the one plugin that actually does all of those, because it takes less overhead to load that one plugin.
So definitely monitor your plugins, and then of course there's the other things like images. You know, don't go directly from your digital camera or your phone to your website. Optimize that image first.
Yeah.
You know, do things like that to make your site load up fast.
That's always our biggest fear in turning WordPress credentials over to a client. It's like, yeah, you can upload whatever, you can do whatever you want, you can make changes, and they literally pull it off of their phone and upload it, and they're like, hey, my site's super slow. Yeah, that's because you got like a 2.5 meg picture that loads up, and it's and it's a thumbnail on the bottom.
Yeah, you just because you shrunk it down don't mean it's still not 2.5 meg. So definitely monitor your site speed. This is a good one here. Broken links. Check for those. You should, especially if you're in a position where you're doing a lot of blogging and you're link building and you got a content heavy site and you got a huge content marketing plan going on, and so you're constantly publishing and sharing and doing things like that, then your opportunity for broken links increases dramatically.
Yeah.
So monitor that. We use a tool called Zeno. Run a Zeno report. Zeno will break down your whole site, tell you what links are fixed, which links are broken, and more importantly, show you those broken links so you can go fix them. So monitor your site for broken links. We make it a habit before we launch a site to just go through every page.
Yep.
Click here, click there, click anything, and just then make sure it works.
Zeno, X-E-N-U.
Yeah, Zeno with an X.
And a U.
And a U. So yeah, make sure you have any broken links for 2 reasons. One, because that's just a poor user experience. But more importantly, broken links are a symbol of a bad site. Google knows those links are broken, and yeah, you don't want to lose ranking because you went from, you know, static to permalinks, and you had some hard-coded URL that you forgot to change.
Yep.
You know, that's usually how broken links tend to happen.
I don't know if this is in there. Make sure you got a good custom 404 page too.
Definitely.
Don't send the generic, this page can't be found. Send, oh, you know, the oops or snap, the page you tried to get to can't be found. Click here to go to our home page, and, you know, at least say it's been reported to the webmaster.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But don't just leave me in the blank. Or worse, here with a page that's not even on your site. It's just default page can't be displayed. Yeah. That would suck. Index status. Make sure you've been indexed. Check your robots file. Check your webmaster tools. Make sure that they're not having any problems, you know, going through and crawling your site and finding all your information. User experience. This is key. People need to have a good experience on your site. If people are visiting your website and they're struggling to find products, struggling to find contact information, well, be surprised if they stayed that long, but you don't want people to come to your site and have to struggle and not have a good experience. You want people to quickly find what they're looking for, make that purchase, make that call, submit that form, whatever it is. Give people the best user experience possible, because that will in turn increase your time on site, increase your user activity, increase your likelihood of them building, linking to you because they enjoyed their experience. And so user experience could have been like closer to #1, but definitely make sure you spend some time on that. So let's talk about some off-page stuff. Be social. And he put author rank here. I think this kind of goes along with what I was saying earlier about the authorship.
Author tag.
Yeah, if you're on other sites, and these other sites have G+ stuff set up, +1 those, right? Comment on those. Engage in that conversation with other people using that same author title, because that's all tracked. Google knows how active you are on other sites as this particular author, especially on similar content. So if you're writing about, you know, beer, it makes sense for you to go and be a guest post on a site that focuses on hops. or focused on barley and things like that, because those are very instrumental to your product. And so so take advantage of that, and do the same thing with Twitter, Facebook, and things like that. Be social. Link back to your site. The last one here was guest post, which that's what I was just talking about. So yeah, at the end of the day, when you're refreshing your site, you want to make sure everything is done. Set up your authorship, right? That's kind of new. You make sure you want to have that done. Refresh your content, which is what wasn't listed on this page, on this list of things to do. Read your About Us page. I guarantee it's probably out of date.
Yeah.
Update the rest of the information, fix your broken links. And now doing all of this, you may discover that you just might need a redesign. And if that's the case, then get started on it. Because if you think you do, then you probably do.
Yeah.
So that's what we have today.
If you think you do, you needed it 6 months ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's it for that.
Cool. We had some algo cloud.
Yeah, we got a little algo.
This is the section that has now been moved to the end of the podcast for this particular podcast, number 190. It is the algorithm cataclysm. Oh, that special effect is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got?
So unfortunately, I don't have a title of this algorithm. We don't know when it will go into place, but we do know that Matt Cutts put out a statement that Google is working on a new algorithm change that is going to target low-quality merchants, specifically e-commerce sites. So if you have an e-com site and, I don't know, you have some bad reviews, it's probably a great indicator that we're looking at, or let's say your time on site is low, or things like that. They're not seeing conversions because they can track all that, whether you have analytics or not. Then you may very well get dinged by whatever this algorithm is going to be called. So if you have an e-com site, fix it. Make sure that your process works. Make sure your product sells and that it ships fine and that your reviews are good. So that way you can be listed as a quality merchant and not one of these kind of low impact merchants and lose your ranking. I will say what bothers me some about that is I'm afraid Google is going to transition to big brands.
Yeah.
Right, and so all of the small mom and pops who have a good site, who have a decent product.
How did Zappos get where they are? Right, they weren't a big brand when they started.
Exactly.
That's the fact of every new brand that gets big. So, yeah.
And so I'm afraid the little mom and pops will be out of there, and our listing will be filled up with overstock and Amazon probably, and Google Shopping, of course, and things like that. And so. Kind of sucks, but a
little concerning.
Yeah, it is what it is. You have to step up.
That was our algorithm cataclysm.
Have we done the special effect twice before?
No. Okay. That was a new one because we moved it to the end. I thought it was worth doing twice. Do we have any blank stare?
Do we? I don't think so.
No blank stare.
All right. Probably. Well, I just can't think of it.
There's lots of things to blank stare about. That's usually true. All right, you have been listening to the most popular internet marketing podcast on iTunes, also SEO podcast on iTunes. That is because of all y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, go ahead and write us a review on iTunes. Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about the new tier tattoo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, putting on that tattoo because we didn't get any reviews. Come on. Either do it on iTunes or do it on G+, or, throw it on Facebook. That'll keep a tattoo off my face. That's continuity there. All right. This has been the episode
190.
number 190. That's a good number.
Yeah, 190.
That's why we're having the shock top.
So what we're going to do in the next 10 episodes, 200, we got to
Yeah, do it outside. No, it'll be too hot in Houston.
Oh, man, yeah. Episode 200.
Yeah, it'll be inside.
Yeah.
Maybe in a car.
Maybe at Twin Peaks.
Ooh, yeah, that could work. Or just we'll pick some other random location. Thank you guys again. You guys can follow us Facebook.com/eWebStyle,
Twitter.com/eWebStyle,
YouTube.com/eWebStyle, and you can send us an email, podcast@e-webstyle.com. Thank you for tuning in. This is a popular podcast because of you. We thank you. Until the next podcast, my name is Chris Burris.
I'm Charles Lewis.
Bye-bye for now.
Yeah, you missed that part at the beginning too.
Yeah.